Everything's inspired by Dune. Dune is everywhere, and I'm feeling a little obsessed right now. Dune 2 was nothing short of phenomenal, and I'm already planning a reread of the one book I've read of the series. And maybe I'll tackle the other stories in the Dune Chronicles. I was inspired, peer pressured, to read Frank Herbert's Dune novel by my friend Anthony my first year of college, and I loved it. I'm a huge science fiction fan, and I adore both the 2021 and 2024 movies. In fact, I think the two Dune movies are some of the very best movies I've ever seen. I'm going to go see Dune 2. Here we go. I'm so excited. I'm the only one in the theater. I'm here at the Roadhouse Theater. It's one of those dinner theaters, and I'm the only one here. The Dune Chronicles have captivated readers for decades, including me, and it's exciting that so many people are able to discover and engage with Dune for the first time through the two latest movies. But there have been multiple adaptations, such as a 1984 film, a 2000 miniseries, video games, comic books, and a tabletop role-playing game. In fact, Dune: Adventures in the Imperium by Modiphius is absolutely incredible. It's a role-playing game where you're able to create and play a character set in the Dune universe and build and create your own story. You can build your house, carve your place in the universe, and fight for the Imperial throne. If you want to explore the world of Dune and tell a story of your own, I definitely recommend checking out Dune: Adventures in the Imperium. Dune is the type of story that really sticks with you. Okay, so I just saw the movie and oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's like wild because I went to a morning movie. It started at 10 a.m. So I'm leaving and it was a 2-hour and 45-minute movie and it's still just like early afternoon, but I'm like reeling. Something I've always struggled with kind of older sci-fi books like Foundation and Dune is that they don't always have amazing roles for women. And I think it's due to the time period. And I think Dune, for the time, for the 60s, it was actually pretty progressive with its portrayal of women, and I think that's great. Chani was changed a lot from the book to the movie, and while plot-wise many of the same things happened, there were some major changes, and there was a little bit more conflict between Paul and Chani, and I liked it. I thought Zendaya did a really beautiful job. It was different, but it was good different, and I'm excited to see where that leads. And the influence of Dune on the genre of science fiction and fantasy is undeniable. With its intricate world building, complex characters, political intrigue, and epic storytelling, Dune is captivating and leaves you thinking long after the story is finished. Set in a distant future where noble houses vie for control of the desert planet Arrakis, Dune explores themes of politics, religion, ecology, and human nature. Dune has inspired generations of creators across various mediums. Star Wars is perhaps the most well-known example of a work inspired by Dune. From the desert planet of Tatooine, with its native sand people and giant sandworm-like creatures, to the mysterious Force and its chosen one prophecy, Star Wars draws heavily from Dune's themes of destiny, power, and the struggles of noble houses in a galaxy-spanning conflict. Star Trek, probably my favorite science fiction franchise ever, also has its fair share of Dune influences. The theme of diplomacy and exploration in Star Trek echoes Dune's emphasis on the importance of understanding different cultures and navigating the complex political landscape of the universe. And there's even an explicit reference to Dune. In Star Trek Voyager, there's a planet called Giedi Prime, which is a nod to the homeworld of House Harkonnen in Dune, known as Giedi Prime. There's even Dune references in Magic the Gathering! You can't tell me that the card Sandworm Convergence isn't a nod to Dune. And ornithopters? And the tabletop wargame Warhammer is another example of a science fiction IP that took a lot of inspiration from Dune.
Warhammer shares many similarities with Dune in its depiction of a grim, dark future where humanity is locked in an eternal struggle for survival. The Emperor of Mankind, a godlike figure who guides humanity through his psychic powers, bears resemblance to the all-powerful rulers in Dune who use their abilities to shape the fate of entire worlds. The ruthless factions and chaotic alliances in Warhammer's universe reflect the power struggles and treachery seen in Dune among its various houses and factions. Game of Thrones also draws inspiration from Dune in its depiction of political intrigue, betrayal, and power struggles among noble houses. Although I've only ever seen the first season of Game of Thrones, so I don't have any Game of Thrones items in my office that I can point to or reference. And there are many other IPs that also take inspiration and have nods to Dune. The Chronicles of Riddick, the Kingkiller Chronicle, and even Futurama are a few examples. Many video games like Morrowind, Homeworld, Highfleet, and Assassin's Creed are also influenced by Dune. Media, in all its forms, is a vast interconnected web of inspiration and influence. Each new piece of media is built upon the works that came before it, drawing upon established themes, ideas, and concepts to create something new. No work exists in a vacuum. Each new piece of media is influenced by the works that came before it, and the Dune franchise has not only inspired countless pieces of media, but was also inspired by prior stories, as well as real-world political conflict.
First off, that arena fight scene was incredible. I know it was supposed to look like the world is seen in infrared, and they literally pulled that off. It was amazing. Having a good arena fight scene is so iconic in sci-fi, and it's interesting because I know that Star Wars has taken a lot of inspiration from Dune, but there's an arena fight scene in A Princess of Mars, which came even before Dune. So this kind of iconic thing was just done so well in this movie.
One of my favorite movies, John Carter, is based off of Edgar Rice Burroughs' A Princess of Mars, published in 1912. A Princess of Mars follows the adventures of John Carter, who is transported to the planet Mars, where he becomes embroiled in a conflict between warring alien races. Both The Princess of Mars and Dune have grand space opera settings, epic battles, and themes of heroism and conflict. My love of the John Carter movie is one of my soapbox speeches that you all have unwittingly stumbled upon. I think that the advertising really failed this movie, and it's definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it already. I spent hours making Deja Thoris's wedding dress from the movie, and it's one of my very favorite cosplays I've made. No one really recognizes who I'm cosplaying when I wear it, but you could be one of the few that do recognize it if you watch the movie. Tell me your thoughts as soon as you've seen it. I absolutely loved the new Dune movie, and I know I'll be thinking about the story constantly over the next few weeks. And I'd love to hear what other stories you can think of that maybe were influenced by Dune. I think it's awesome that Dune has inspired so many people to not only consider the story, but to creatively design their own worlds and ideas and to make stories of their own.